There has always been an air of doubt that has surrounded Luke Beveridge as a coach. Especially in the past few seasons, many football fans and media commentators have actually wondered how good of a senior coach he is. I can't think of too many coaches with a premiership that have been criticised and hyper-focused on as Beveridge. To some, he is a football genius, but to others, he is a wacky football scientist who will try anyone anywhere, while at the same time being too stubborn for his own good. Throw in a control freak and a person others at the Western Bulldogs walk around eggshells on, and it paints the most inconsistent picture of a person in the industry. Who is Luke Beveridge? Why is he so divisive? And what future, if any, does he have beyond his contract, which ends in 2025? From a basic stats viewpoint, let's compare Beveridge with coaches the football world would declare as good. John Longmire has a 64% winning rate in the home and away season and has been to 4 grand finals. This does trump Beveridge's 56% winning rate and his 2 grand finals. However, in the finals series, Longmire has won 48% of games and has won premiership, while Beveridge has a finals win rate of 58% and matches him with a premiership. Now, Chris Scott has a ridiculous win percentage of 70% in the regular season, but it does fall to 46% in finals, while he has won 2 out of his 3 grand finals. Ken Hinkley has a 61% home and away season win rate, but a lowly 42% finals win percentage, and he's yet to reach a grand final. Throw in Simon Goodwin and Brad Scott's records against Beveridge, and again, he does match up well. Without the face and name attached to the numbers, there is no way you can say Beveridge hasn't been a successful AFL coach. So where does all the doubt come from? The first place to start are those wacky positional moves. When they come off, you look brilliant, and when they don't, you look foolish. Now, not all of these are on Beveridge, because he does have other coaches around him, but he is the head of the team at the end of the day. Let's start with the moves that from the outside, many weren't happy with. 2021 saw Jason Johannesson become a pressure forward. His form had stagnated in the past few years out of defence, and although in 2021 they did reach the grand final, JJ had a career worst season and kicked just 15 goals. However, since 2023, he has been moved back to defence and has been great. In 2019 early on, Josh Dunkley was playing far more inside 50. His first 6 games were pretty average stats wise, but he was finally moved on the ball. If you look at his stats from round 7, 2019 onwards, then it makes sense why Beveridge should have been playing him on ball from season start. The following year, Dunkley was often used as a second ruck as well for the small Western Bulldogs side, and at the time, many questioned how effective it was. But this is just about it for the bad switch-ups Beveridge has made. Have a look at the careers that have blossomed and been saved by smart positional moves. Going back to the start of Beveridge's time at the Dogs, Liam Picken's last few AFL seasons were his best. The scrappy tagger became an important winger and forward in 2015 and 2016, averaging 23 disposals and kicking 30 total goals in the combined years. It was a huge return for a player who seemed to be holding on for his AFL career. Jack McRae mostly played on the outside until 2018, becoming one of the best on ballers for 5 years. From 2018 to 2022, he polled double-figure Brownlow votes in each season and was named All-Australian 3 straight times, while being named the best finals player in 2021. It was a simple but effective move. Then there's Caleb Daniel and Bailey Dale. Daniel had stagnated in his effectiveness before a move to defence in the back end of 2018. He became a star of the competition with his decision making and clean ball use, with 2020 the highlight season, winning the best and fairest and being named All-Australian. Then the following year, Bailey Dale, who barely was a best 22 player, exploded with his move in defence. He averaged 24.5 disposals and kick 9 goals, while also being selected as an All-Australian in 2021. Aaron Norton's move into the forward line in 2018 gave them a big man target, and he has been the team's best forward for 4 or 5 years. And even in modern times, the switch up for Ed Richards' outer defence to the midfield is tracking well and has been especially important without Tom Liberatore playing. The good outweighs the bad here when it comes to shifting players. The narrative that Beveridge plays guys out of position is subjective, but there are reasons for everything. Bailey Smith wasn't getting centre bounces, but if you go back and watch the games in the past 2 years, he was playing as an on-baller, rolling up from the forward line to stoppages. The same with Jack McRae and Caleb Daniel, who are still good AFL players, but do they fit the needs of this current Bulldogs team? They need more pace, and it's something these two don't have at a high level. And even with Bailey Dale, who started the year slow, but bounced back against St Kilda after being sub, showed good coaching. To some. Could Dale's form boost be because he got a kick up the bum by Beveridge? According to most in the media, it was Beveridge's fault that Dale was the sub and that he should have been playing anyway, even though his form had tapered.
Challenging him just for 1 week to have him the sub and then bring him straight back in. Is that
it worked?
Is that the challenge? Yeah,
of course
it worked.
So they've got this response.
Could
you
they
can't
have
argue
won,
the
but
response.
could they have won last week and in prior weeks? And could they be in a better position than 3 and 3 if he had treated these highly regarded players? We're talking highly regarded, highly paid, highly contracted players.
Yeah.
And
you're picking on contracts.
Well,
what's the point of it?
Overall, there are reasons for all the changes Beveridge has made over his journey. I do think the good ones override the bad ones, and it is harsh to just focus on the negative. No coach is ever perfect. Another quick aside, from people in the coaching ranks, players and club administrators, when have you ever heard a really bad word about Beveridge? It's a strange phenomenon. With all the journalists looking for a story and connections with player managers, there has never been a story about him being a poor coach. 10 years in the position and not one unnamed source or football person has come out and said they doubt his ability. You can argue that people in the know wouldn't say anything and just keep it to themselves, but with all the noise over the past 2 seasons, I think it tells us that people in the AFL system highly regard Beveridge. With some media and fans against him, it will be an easy target to launch at if there were real problems there. So we get to where a big part of the Beveridge criticism comes from. His relationship with the media is better today than it was in the past. However, he had the Brownlow bathroom incident with Damien Barrett, called out Kane Cornes for his lack of empathy towards Adam Treloar during the 2021 final series, and most publicly scathed Tom Morris as a trashy journalist. And of all of the hundreds of presses Beveridge has done, he's performed well, but just a few incidents can have a lasting impact. People don't forget these type of things. It matters because subconsciously, you do become a target. It's not necessarily that he shouldn't be criticised, but that others in his field aren't equally targeted. An example includes Cornes, who has praised Ken Hinkley throughout his tenure and marched on air that Port should give Hinkley a 2-year contract extension during last season. The club did end up extending him a further 2 years, but they went out in straight sets. Yet when the Bulldogs after 2022 gave Beveridge a 2-year deal before the year, Cornes said the move was ridiculous. Remember, this was just the season after they reached the grand final. Again, you can criticise the Bulldogs' move, but how can you support the 2-year deal Ken Hinkley got? To me, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's just one little comparison to show that not all is fair and equal as a senior coach. So adding all of this up, Luke Beveridge is a great AFL coach. He just has to be, right? To win as many games and finals as he has shows something he does works. Despite his record holding up with the best coaches right now, and his small knack to evolve players into stars, the doubt is still there. Overall, it comes from his own doing, with his battles with the media over time, the Western Bulldogs' lack of consistency, declaring where they are at as a playing list, and continuous leaks in the past couple of years of general disharmony, although never anything specifically to do with Beveridge's coaching ability. These things build up over time, and with losses to bad teams of late, can boil over. He's kept his own tone calm and clearly believes in his own ability. The team sits in an awkward position at 5 and 6, although I don't think finals is the be-all and end-all, especially with the clear change of personnel during 2024. But no matter what, Beveridge is and probably will continue to be the most divisive coach in the competition until the day his tenure closes.